Whatever it is that we do, we go tough, we go fast, and we go physical. Understand again who you play for. Understand again what you represent here. Every single time you put on this uniform. All the guys that played before you. Understand that. Wear that jersey with pride every single time you are on this field. Cheer your teammates on for 48 minutes, make plays, and you'll be 1-0 after tonight. Let's go beat these guys up. Let's go crazy!
Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight.
Welcome to Pascack Valley TV. I'm Matthew Mugno, the broadcaster for today's live stream, alongside Mike Tedesco on the camera, Mike Sherman running the operation production crew. We're here at Paramus George W. Hodgins Field. The game last night was supposed to be in the depths of the valley, but a big storm came through, plans changed, they moved the game to 11 o'clock kickoff today. Pascack Valley Panthers 1-0, Paramus Spartans 1-1 coming into this match. Valley on the road. We'll be covering today's game on this live stream. Kickoff seconds away. The Spartans look for a return, but it's gobbled up, and they'll start at their own 15-yard line. Pascack Valley, last 5 games. They won versus Ramsey 34-21 to start this season on August 31st. A big showing. Kevin Regula, running back for the Pascack Valley Panthers, had 3 touchdowns in that game. The hat trick of touchdowns for the Panthers under head coach Len Cusimano. We'll be talking about him in a moment, but we'll also have an interview of Cusimano coming later in between quarters, an exclusive Pascack Valley TV interview. Paramus Spartans line up. Cormac O'Hara with the handoff. Tries to punch it up the gut to the flank, but is tackled. Gained a few yards on that play. Trying to get the run game started early. That is a mantra that most football fans know of. O'Hara lines up his team under center. O'Hara threw a TD and 1 interception so far this season. Flags thrown. Looks to be a form of a delayed start for the Spartans. And they'll be in their own red zone to start this game. O'Hara will have to make up some time. He's a junior, 6'2", 190. Other notable starters for the Spartans: Chris Akert, Adrian Kaba, Mason Merkel, Marco Giacchi, and Liam Jones, who had a spectacular defensive showing in the team's first 2 games, especially in their win against Hackettstown. The handoff, and Valley does a good job shutting things down as he tries to spin move, and he's taken down. Back at the 20-yard line. Chris Akert running the ball there. He's a senior, 6 foot, 205. A lot of muscle there. Trying to establish the run game early, but they do a good job of airing the ball out, as 4 receivers had 30-plus yards so far this season already in the team's first 2 games. Joey Von Tobel leads the Pascack Valley Panthers on the defensive side of the ball. And the handoff again. A fake. O'Hara. A bump out. Gaining some yards. Adrian Kaba makes some gains here and gets the first down for the Paramus Spartans. Kaba plays running back in a similar way that the New Orleans Saints deploy Alvin Kamara, using that bump out as a screen running back, gaining some receiving yards as well. And the Spartans line up to the right of the field. And they hand the ball off, but it's gobbled up by the Pascack Valley defenders, who do a good job reading that play. They sent 4 defenders in, read that play perfectly, read the fake, and the Spartans will have some gains to make for the first down at about midfield, 45-yard line. Chris Aker lined up to the right of O'Hara. Moves to the left. And we'll be taking a water break. Paramus Spartans trying to establish their run game. Haven't succeeded so far. Ran 4 plays so far. 1 was a bump out screen. The other 3 were running plays. Haven't tried to air out to their receivers yet. Paramus in their last 5 games. On September 1st, 2023, they lost versus Old Tapan 35-13. They are the reigning champions in the conference. They won against Hackettstown 10-0 on August 25th. And the last games they played were last season, where they lost to West Essex 41-14 in the North 2 Group 3 Round 1 playoff. And on October 21st, 2022, where they lost to Riverdale 37-7. So they're looking for some revenge here in the Super Football Conference Patriot Blue Division against one of their rivals, Pascack Valley. In this division, Old Tapan, Riverdale, Bergenfield, Demarest, Paramus, and Pascack Valley. O'Hara has Kaba and Aker lined up in the backfield. O'Hara looks like he'll be rolling back into shotgun. Hands it off to Akert. Akert going to the sideline, shakes the tackle, and gains a few extra yards there. It's tackled by one of the Pascack Valley defenders. Shane Burke, 6'1", plays offensive line and defensive line. Another notable defender for the Pascack Valley Panthers is Dante Ricciardi, number 51. Spartans are approaching double digits in play calls. Haven't made many gains upfield. Pascack Valley defenders doing a really good job on the interior. Officials are communicating some of those players now. Pascack Valley's last 5 games. I mentioned before the win versus Ramsey, 34-21 on the road. They have not played a home game yet. Today was supposed to be a Pascack Valley Panthers home game down in the valley, but the weather impacted that, as yesterday there were quarter-sized hailstones coming from the sky, winds, microburst-like storm, and they decided to postpone the game last night as there was flooding on the field. Spartans line up. Hand the ball off again, and gobbled up in the backfield. Great tackle play there by the Pascack Valley defense. So far, the Spartans have deployed Kaba and Akert running the ball. Both are seniors, both are running backs. We'll see if they get more active as the game progresses, even though the passing game seemed to be what the Spartans' bread and butter was in the last 2 weeks of their gameplay. Three receivers line up to the right for the Spartans. He looks left and right, and the ball's intercepted by the Pascack Valley Panthers. An interception. Mark De La Quilla, wide receiver and defensive back, with the interception as the ball was head towards the turf. got down to catch the ball. Was down on the play, but the turnover allows the Panthers to capitalize upfield. They're at the Spartans 40, and they'll look to make something of this play. Probably get Regula going to start this game. They deferred the coin toss. Delaquila with the huge play to turn the ball over. Adam Shaw, sophomore, very similar numbers this season to Cormac O'Hara. Shaw, number 10, plays quarterback, 6'1", another tall player. Reminds me of Colin Diedrich. And Regula gets the ball going, finds a hole, but is tackled by Chris Akert. Panthers have always run through their running backs in run game, but this season, CD has impressed in the first game of their season with an 100-yard game, a 51-yard long touchdown to start this season. Last time Pascack Valley really saw numbers from a receiver like that was Mike Pimpinella in 2015. Kevin Regula lines up again to receive the fake handoff. They pass the ball out, and it shakes a tackle. And Owen Deedy makes some gains for the Panthers, and now they're in the red zone. The fake to Regula even had me stunned. I thought they were going to get the run game going earlier. The fake was deceptive as Regula recorded 3 touchdowns in the first game of the season for the Panthers. Owen Deedy, that is his 5th reception of the year. He's already surpassed 100 yards on the season. Regula also a receiver with 2 receptions for 20 yards on top of his rushing statistics. And Regula goes to the left of the field, brings them within 15 yards of the end zone. It's a humid day out here. Players are probably warm. They had to practice all week at Pascack Valley in the gym. So they couldn't really practice tackling. They were really practicing their formations, plays. But Len Cusimano did a good job keeping them engaged. Two receivers line up on the right side. They have a player in motion. O'Hara swings, fakes the handoff, but he's tackled for a loss by the Paramus Spartans. Great play by the defenders to read that. Wrap him up in the backfield, and Pascack Valley will go for another try. For the Spartans this season, Drew Renner, number 20, has 2 interceptions, and Liam Jones, number 33, had 15 tackles entering this game alone. Shaw receives a handoff. He's running up the gut, shakes a tackle, shakes another tackle. Is he in? Just short. A great play to find the hole. Offensive line opened up the Red Sea for him. Faked the handoff to Regula and took it himself. Shaw has 163 passing yards but can also run the ball. It's a dual threat. Went 10 for 18 in their first game. Threw a touchdown and 1 interception. And there he gained about 10 yards on the run. They hand off to Regula, and he punches it in. Pascack Valley Panthers touchdown. Kevin Regula with his 4th of the season already in 2 games for the Panthers, and they take the lead, punch it up the gut. They lead 6-0 here. They trot out Evan Starr for the kick. And it's good. Panthers take the lead on their first drive. A myriad of play calls. A lot of deception. Using Shaw to run the ball. Regula. And activating Owen Dede as well on that first drive. Regula's 4th touchdown of the season. He has 20 receiving yards as well on 2 receptions. But in terms of rushing, heading into this game, 18 attempts, 134 yards. The last player to reach numbers like this was George Cortez when Pascack Valley went to back-to-back state titles, state sectional titles, in 2013 and 2014, a decade ago. George Cortez recorded 550 yards that season. Regula's already looking like he can eclipse that total if they continue to activate him in this manner and Pascack Valley can utilize the run game. Spartans will start at the 25. Look to go head upfield as they were stymied on their first drive. They received the ball to start the game. 4 minutes remaining in this first quarter here in Paramus. Spartans are 1-1. They've played 2 games already. This is Pascack Valley's 2nd game. Big game in terms of power points for the Super Football Conference Patriot Blue Division. This Pascack Valley was 4-6 last season, looking to improve upon that. O'Hara lofts it up top, over center. A deep ball, going, gone. The Spartans tie the game. Adrian Kaba, deep ball, O'Hara. Scared of the 7. Valley melts down on that one. Adrian Kaba with a great reception, heads up play, go route. And he burned the Pascack Valley defenders on that play. They'll trot out their kicker. And it's good. The Spartans come right back to knot this game up. Open up the field. About a 20, 30-yard route. Took it all the way to the house. It's humid morning here. Kickoff at 11 o'clock in Paramus, New Jersey. As mentioned before, the game was supposed to be for the Pascack Valley Panthers home opener, season opener, at home. They'll be on the road next week and then back home the following week after that. So they won't see a home game for another 2 weeks. Got to think that might affect morale. Especially on a hot day like today. Very humid. Cloudy skies, but a humid day. And the punt. Kai Smith on the return, shaking some tackles, making some gains, and he's tackled at the 35. Kai Smith, great return there to gain a few extra yards for the Pascack Valley Panthers. They have a few weapons on offense of their own that can really blow this game wide open. They played a very back-and-forth game against the Ramsey Rams last week. As mentioned before, It's impressive to see Adam Shaw succeed as a sophomore in the quarterback position. Every NFL player states in interviews that everybody wants to be the quarterback. Adam Shaw is that guy this season. Already had a great rush in the first drive. Fakes the handoff, and he shakes a tackle, and he's brought down at the 35. Great way to break the tackle. Almost got tripped up. Hands on his legs, but he shook the tackle. Run play, and the Spartans bring down Regula. Regula's already getting his legs going and engine started here in this game. Has the lone touchdown for the Pascack Valley Panthers with 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. And the handoff to Regula, who finds open field. Sees open grass, but is chirped down. The Panthers' third drive. And they'll be looking if they can convert on this play for the first. They're about 5 yards from the first down. Looks like it'll be a false start on the Panthers. Water break with 1:50 remaining in the first quarter. 7-7, all knotted up. Both teams have seen scores like this early in the first quarter. The stars are shining as Adrian Kaba and Kevin Regula have the touchdown scored for each of their teams. Evan Starr for the Panthers so far this season at the field goal line, 5 for 6. Great leg for the Panthers. Now the receivers of the Spartans, Drew Renner, Marco Giacchi, Mason Merkel, Liam Jones, and now Adrian Kaba. Adrian Kaba has been used and utilized more as a running back, but burned the Spartans defenders with some speed. Found the middle of the field and was able to convert on the play. Regula finds open space, and he's tackled down at midfield. Great running play. Regula getting going on the offensive side of the ball. Number 25 for the Pascack Valley Panthers. He's a junior, 5'11", 190. Has tremendous speed. Shaw receives the ball, tries to get it off quick, and the pass is broken up. Almost an interception by the Spartans. Reading that play well. Getting the hands up at midfield and knocking the ball down. That was Chris Akert, who's done a great job in the middle of the field, defending, making plays, and also running the ball on the offensive side of the ball. For the Panthers, Adam Shaw is looking to get going. Has Regula lined up behind him. a receiver far right one-on-one. That's Michael Franzaglia. They go to Regula again. And he's pushed back a few yards. And the helmet popped off. Regula's helmet popped off, going to the sideline. Spartans doing a good job. They seem to have come alive since that touchdown from Adrian Kaba. Number 5. He's listed as a running back and a defensive back. He's a senior. Made a big play on a go route. Panthers are looking to balance out that run game and receiving game. Ondidi set in motion. Shaw looks to the right on the fake. And another run play as Kai Smith's brought down. He's another sophomore. You're a younger team. The Paramus Spartans return as all juniors and seniors who are starting in this game. Pascack Valley Panthers have a mix of players. Some sophomores involved, some younger players in skill positions that were not in those positions last season. A little bit of a disappointing last season, as the year before was the famous Stephen Demboski play. That age group that includes Stephen Demboski, Justin Amano, Connor McKenna. All students that were also great in the classroom for Pascack Valley TV. That'll be the end of the first quarter. Another 12 minutes set up for the second quarter on the clock. We'll be back in a few minutes with second quarter of action here. Home of the Spartans, Paramus against the Pascack Valley Panthers. 7-7 is the score. And the Panthers go for it. Decisions coming from the officials. No good. No dice. The Spartans come up with a big stop. Panthers are going to have to turn the tide here on the defensive side of the ball. They did a really great job in the interior. Their line is playing exceptional. It seemed the one play that went to the secondary, they got burned by a player that was utilized in a role that they hadn't seen previously in Adrian Kaba. Humid day, clouds are starting to move a little bit. Real hot on the field. I can't imagine being on the turf right now. O'Hara hands the ball off, and a big hit brings down Chris Akert. He took a shot at midfield, tried to run up the gut, but was stifled by the Valley defense. They're doing a really good job of stopping the run game. Pascack Valley has Pretty good following for a visiting game at 11 in the morning, as the game was moved last night due to unfortunate weather circumstances. Microburst-like storm demolished the town of Hillsdale. Lot of trees coming down, tree services in motion. O'Hara tries to run up the gut, and he's brought down. Gained about a yard on that play. If we were to compare Shaw and O'Hara, it's certainly evident that Shaw's got some wheels on him. Can be a dual threat. As opposed to O'Hara, who hasn't been able to get the run game going himself. His few rush attempts have come up short. Valley defense makes a change. Has 4 linemen going in. And a big tackle allows a gain for O'Hara. Announcer's curse. Gains a few yards and is at midfield. This turnover and the energy brought onto the field and into the stands was from a stop of Kevin Regula, who couldn't move the chains on a 4th and 1 play. You got to go for it if you're in that opportunity or that position. 10 minutes on the clock right now. Score 7-7. Pascack Valley Panthers versus the Paramus Spartans. Got to get this snap off quick here. Tracy Akert is lined up to the right of O'Hara. A screen pass to Adrian Kabu, who's brought down at the sideline by Ashton Kazinski and Jake Merlino. Junior and a senior for Valley. Some of the older guard on this team. Three receivers line up to the right, but O'Hara goes for the run, and he's brought down. Yes, that is Cormac O'Hara. Brought down as he tried to fake a pass left, move the ball right. Carried it himself. Looks like O'Hara took a little bit of a shot. He's wobbling a little. Still appears to not be able to put any weight on that right leg. But he's staying in the game. Toughing it out. Panthers D got 2 safeties lined up. 6 players on the interior. And Aker takes it all the way to the left 30-yard line. And he's tackled and brought down, but the Spartans make another big advance in their conquest for another touchdown. Spartans are lined up. A high snap. Gets the handoff. And is brought down and gobbled up at the center of the field. Another run play by Adrian Cobb, who's been active along with Chris Akert. Again, the Spartans return a lot of juniors and seniors. NJ.com says that may help them in a campaign towards a state championship. This year would be a true state champion, as we saw last season. First time in that. Pascack Valley has 2 sectional titles, but now with a Crown of New Jersey. Similar to the college football playoff, there will be 1 champion by the end of this season. The handoff to Kaba, and he's brought down on a great tackle. And that's Dante Ricciardi for you. Came into the game with 15 tackles and records another one on the stat sheet right there. Great way to stymie the advance of the Spartans for the Pascack Valley Panthers. Spartans line up. The handoff. Shakes 2 tackles. Akert powering through, and he's brought down by Nick Lamparillo. Lamparillo with the tackle to bring down Akert as he's starting to run loose here for the Spartans. Akert able to move the sticks on that play. And they're now in the red zone, 20 yards out from another potential score. Pascack Valley Panthers defense going to have to come up big here, as that seemed to be a little bit of a challenge, and Len Cusimano acknowledged that from their first game against the Ramsey Rams. A switch of the backfield and a bring down, a huge tackle by Jake Merlino in the backfield. And that'll be a tackle for loss, a huge play by Merlino to read that play one-on-one with the running back. And to bring down Mason Merkel, a wide receiver, swinging on that play. They had him in motion, brought down to the left field, left backfield. Tackle for loss, great play by Jake Merlino. Hara has Cabo behind him, a fake handoff, a pass, a dunk pass, just short. Can't tell really what's going on the sideline, if they're upset with the play, a player, a missed call. But the entire sideline of coaches for the Pascack Valley Panthers are unhappy with something. We're talking every coach: Len Cusimano, Adam Preciado, Bill Weigel, J.J. Moran, Brendan Morrissey, Justin Rezano, and Dave Williams. Large coaching staff for the Panthers. Len Cusimano's been here a few years now. Whistle for a water break. A nice cool breeze comes in. Perfect timing to usher that in. Score 7-7 on the Spartans' home turf. They responded very quickly after a Panthers touchdown. 5:16 remains in the second quarter here of play. Just about approaching halftime, about half the quarter left to play. The Spartans are starting to march downfield here. Coach Joe Sabella doing a good job keeping his team active and using a few different play calls to get different players going on his team. A good team utilizes all of its best players, and its best players are able to capitalize on their opportunities, and that's what the Spartans have done so far in this game with Chris Akert running the ball. O'Hara has played all right, and Caba recorded a huge play with his touchdown. His first of the season. A lot of returning Spartans here, seniors and juniors, and you're seeing that their experience might be paying off on this drive, certainly. O'Hara fakes handoff to Akert. Up top, and the pass is broken up. Caba appeared to be interfered with. And the fans are really getting into the game now. Pass interference on that play. Flag tossed. A yellow cloth on the field, and I think if Caba cut in on that slant route, he probably could have run away with the ball into the end zone. Now the Panthers are really in a pressure cooker situation. Defense has played for a while here on this drive. It's a hot day. Nice breeze, but I can't imagine the temperature on the field right now. How stuffy it is in those helmets and shoulder pads. The Paramus Spartans have only won one game in their last 4. One of those was a major playoff blowout loss that they endured from West Essex in the North 2 Group 3 Round 1 playoff last season. And O'Hara shakes a tackle, makes a cut to the inside, and he's brought down at the 2-yard line. Plays brought back with the flag on the field. It appeared Markle took an infraction, and that'll reset the down. Third down here. You got to think if the Panthers can get a stop here, they can really turn the tide of this game. It seems on the away field they've been stunned since they scored a touchdown and the Spartans returned and answered the bell with one play to get downfield and record an answering score. 4:44 on the board, 7-7. Big play here for either the Spartans or the Panthers. Akert runs up the gut, shakes 3, 4, tackles, touchdown! Chris Akert and the Paramus Spartans have taken the lead. Chris Akert starting to run mad on the Panthers. Shook about 4 tackles as the secondary couldn't bring down Akert. One too many missed assignments. And they'll trot out the kicker for the field goal. And the field goal is good. That'll bring us to 14-7. Says Spartans lead by 1 score. Chris Akert starting to run mad. He's at double digits in attempts so far this game. We don't have a stat guy. Right now it's Matthew Mugno on the mic, Mike Tedesco on the camera, Mike Sherman producing. Up in the booth at George W. Hodgins Field here in Paramus. Paramus looking for a big victory here against the Pascack Valley Panthers. Panthers looking to rewrite some of the ups and downs and ebbs and flows between seasons under head coach Len Cusimano. I'd like to apologize right now for our viewers. We know we have a lot of people watching at home for Pascack Valley on PVTV that couldn't be here or simply couldn't make it out today. We're having some glitches and some stammering on the broadcast and on the live stream, so our apologies for that. We hope you stick with us, and we're on the away field, so it's a little bit harder to live stream from here. We were intending a home game last night, but really unfortunate weather circumstances pushed not only an away game, but makes it a little bit more difficult to live stream the games. We hope you can understand and hope you stick with us here. Panthers line up at the 25. I believe that was Kai Smith that returned the punt. Any play can be the play that knots this game up. Panthers have had one long drive, a 51-yard bomb to Owen Dede to score a touchdown in their first game this season against the Ramsey Rams. We'll see if they try and air out the ball again. That's not usually in the deck of cards for the Pascack Valley Panthers. They've had some really great backs who have played for the team and graduated in the last few years, for the last number of years. Jake Williams, Sean Cuff, to name a few. Mentioned George Cortez already at the top of the broadcast. And Regula finds a hole. He's going up the right sideline. One-on-one. Breaks in with speed. Regula, touchdown, Panthers. A huge play to break the game wide open. All knotted up. In similar to fashion to how they utilize Adrian Kaba. Kevin Regula, number 25 for the Panthers with his 5th touchdown of the season, adding to his yard totals, approaching George Cortez in his 2nd game this season. A huge play to respond, found the hole on the right side of the field, shook a tackle, used his speed to burn 2 defenders in the backfield, and ended up with the score, tying score for the Panthers, his 2nd of the game. And the field goals dinks in, and it's good. Panthers with some big plays to respond here. Looked like they were getting jammed and couldn't respond, couldn't find the energy on the defensive side of the ball to stop Chris Akert from scoring, but one back scores and another responds. Looking for the punt now. To name some Super 100 All-State players for the Pascack Valley Panthers, 2014, Rocco Swadek and George Cortez, a left back and a running back. Mike Pimpinella in 2015. Ooh, and the Spartans are brought down all the way to their own 2-yard line. A huge play by the Panthers to stymie that. The returner dropped the ball, couldn't locate it, and at the point where he realized that, it was too late. 3 Panther defenders were in on him. Pick up where I left off with the Super 100 All-State players. Mike Pimpinella, 2015, wide receiver on those stacked 13 and 14 teams with Rocco Swadek and George Cortez. 2018, Charlie Luz on the offensive line. 2019, Jake Williams, a running back. And 2021, Steven Demboski. Great family, those Demboskis. Steven is currently at Beaver Stadium as Delaware takes on Penn State in their 2nd game of the season. He would be the first Pascack Valley graduate to play a game in Beaver Stadium, to take warm-ups on that field. It is the largest arena in the Western Hemisphere of the world. That includes some South American soccer stadiums. O'Hara, in his own backfield, intercepted! And the Panthers come up with 2 huge plays to respond. The Panthers forced O'Hara to scramble. Thought he had an open man, but they came through with an interception. Believe that was snagged by Dante Ricciardi. If not, that is my mistake. There was a pile of Panthers in at the point where the interception occurred. And they'll be starting within the red zone. At the 10-yard line, Shaw receives a snap, lined up to the left side of the field, one-on-one. He's got a tight end. Touchdown, Panthers! Touchdown, Panthers! Dante DaCosta, number 17. They'll take the lead. A huge set of plays. 3 plays in a row. And the Panthers respond as they'll trot out their kicker, Evan Starr. An amazing response. A great fadeaway out route. And Dante DaCosta, sophomore to sophomore, 6'3", lined up one-on-one on the outside. And a fumble! And the play stopped. Couldn't get the field goal off. A faulty snap led to a turnover. And with 3:54 remaining, the Panthers have taken the lead on 2 consecutive drives. Kevin Regula, Dante DaCosta coming up huge for the Panthers, as well as the interception that turned the ball over. And a huge stop at the other end of the field from the defense and the interior led to these plays. The Spartans will have to look to respond here as we're just inside 4 minutes, 3:54 remaining in the second quarter. The Panthers will be kicking the ball off again. If that's deja vu or if the stream glitched, there was a huge set of plays that led to that. And the Spartans will have a second chance to redeem themselves on this one. And a huge tackle brings him down from Nick Lamparillo. Already mentioned his name twice on the broadcast. Lamparillo's played well on the defensive side of the ball so far this game. Again, we apologize if there's glitches with the broadcast right now. After an injury on the return, Paramus looks to go upfield. It was good to see the injured player, number 8, return to the sideline on his own discretion. And the handoff to Akert, and he's gobbled up by the interior. Big tackles made so far by the Panthers in this match on away turf. Paramus has some competitions as Bergen Catholic and Paramus Catholic are also in the same town, a big town. In fact, it brings in, with the 3 malls in the town, it brings in more money than Rodeo Drive annually. A lot of money in this town. Large populace. But they also have some competition in terms of recruiting. Jabril Peppers, an NFL player, was drafted out of Paramus Catholic. Panthers get another tackle. And the first down will be about 8 yards from the line of scrimmage. O'Hara, a low snap, hands it off to Akert. Akert stutter steps, and he's brought down. A helmet goes off. And 52 trots off the field. About 5 yards out, 6 yards out from the first down marker. See if the Spartans can get their offense going, as the Panthers D and interior offensive line has done a good job of getting inside and making tackles, clogging up the holes for the run game. Adam Hassan trots on the field for the Spartans. They pack around O'Hara, who's lined up. And the punt is received by Ashton Kaczynski. It's a wide receiver and a defensive back for the Panthers, junior at Pascack Valley High School. Were affected by the COVID-19 pandemic when they were in middle school, as opposed to probably feeling some effects 2 seasons ago, but it's a little bit wild to think that was about 3 years ago now. They'll be playing in healthy conditions. The age group that came after the COVID-affected season for the Pascack Valley Panthers went on to succeed. As mentioned, Stephen Demboski before, Super 100 player, all-state level player, playing for Delaware. Regula, fake punt, fake handoff. Shaw moving upfield. Adam Shaw doing a great job of finding the holes when he's had to rush this game. And moves the chains for the Panthers as they head upfield. For Adrian Kaba, his first touchdown of the season, first receiving touchdown of the season. He had 2 already this season, 14 attempts for 51 yards heading into this game. Certainly burned that, as he had probably a 45 to 50 yard bomb on the receiving side of the ball to open the game up for the Spartans to respond to a touchdown from Regula, who has 2 this game. Regula marching upfield, and he's brought down as he's punching up the gut. Two backs lined up. Fake pass. And a huge defensive stop by the Spartans. Clogs up the lane with a big push. As I mentioned, Panthers started 1-0. Their undefeated seasons, 1959, 1960, 1965, 1966, and 1990. They have not had an undefeated season in 3 decades now, but they have found much success in the early 2010s. They've had some ups and downs, fluctuating ups and downs in the last few seasons. As we approach halftime, Panthers lead 20-14. We got a 15-minute halftime here. Stay with us, as we'll be throwing our show here to an interview with Len Cusimano. I had the chance to speak to him earlier this week during the hot weather conditions indoors, and he talked about the team's successes, the up and down seasons, and how he has younger players in big positions this season. Let's take a look. All right, Coach, on NorthJersey.com, in that interview, you said a lot of new players in skill positions, a lot of young talent. Do you view this as a challenge or an opportunity?
It's a great opportunity for all those guys, without a doubt. Every single year, you gotta find new guys that are going to step up. Obviously, from graduation, guys have been waiting in the wings and doing their part in the off season and stepping up and rising to the occasion. So. We got a good start in our first game against Ramsey. A little bit of a bump here and there. It wasn't as smooth as we wanted it to be, but we were able to come out on top in the end, which was very important. But all our skill guys really made plays. Coach Weigel, offensive coordinator, did a great job putting them in position to make plays. We're just very proud of them for what they did in that first game.
And with that first game, things to build upon. What are you guys looking for to build upon this Friday?
Yeah. Just consistency again, making sure, defensively we're sure tackling, making sure we're in the right position to make plays. And then offensively, just execution, continuing drives when we need to, No 3 and outs, is very important. Making sure time of possession is in our favor, and running the football consistently. I think we did a fairly good job balancing things in the run and pass in that first game, but there's always room for improvement, and we just want to continue to improve.
Yeah, now with that, what are the goals for this season, and what are the overarching goals of the program?
Goals are, obviously, every week we talk about being 1-0. That's very important in focusing on today and this week's opportunity. We can't never overlook anybody. We've never done that over the years. Without a doubt, it's always what's in front of us right away. We can't be concerned with next week. We got to be concerned with today and our opportunity this week. So the focus is take it week by week, day by day, and be as consistent as possible. Not in school, in the classroom, and obviously when we're on the football field. The goals for the program, the mountain for New Jersey is even higher because you have true state champions now, where you're playing down to one state champion. Obviously within our league, we have the Group 3 state champ in Old Tapan. So the challenge is there. Our league is very competitive this year, and it's always been competitive. Our conference and our group is very competitive as well. So the focus again, just take it week to week and what's our next opportunity, our next challenge. So that's really been our focus weekly.
Lastly, last year you considered it a transition year. That was your quote. What would you consider this year? Just getting back on track. Last year again, a ton of guys that were new starters, even guys that were seniors that were new starters. So they really didn't get the amount of years in to be multi-year starters. So this year we have some of those guys that were starters, first-year starters last year back, and you could see that experience help a little bit, especially on our offensive line. With guys that just are able to be more consistent and be more aggressive and be more physical. So, it's just year to year. Obviously you want consistency and not have, an up and down pattern, but that's sometimes just the way it goes. So, we're focused on this year and being consistent this year. Thank you.
All right, man.
I'm Matthew Mugno here for Pascack Valley TV here in Paramus, George W. Hodgins Field. Second half underway, just about ready to go. Pascack Valley leads by 1 score, 3 touchdowns for Valley to 2 by the Paramus Spartans. They took a big run, huge 3 sets of plays on a muffed punt return, a touchdown, a field goal, and then another touchdown on the next drive. Kevin Regula got things started. He's got 5 TDs on the season so far. Spartans responded after the Panthers' first touchdown, but the Panthers have taken over since, stymieing a play at the goal line on the defensive side of the ball and increasing their lead on a great set of downs. Now let's look at some of the action here as things are about underway on the field. We'll see if the Panthers can keep the lead in the second half and build upon this to go 2-0. You know what they say, you can't go 12-0 unless you start 2-0. The Spartans looking to win on home turf after an unprecedented weather storm in Pascack Valley led to the game being postponed to today, Saturday, 9/9, September 9th, 2023. College football day today, but it's high school football here on Pascack Valley TV. Talking before about undefeated records, year-by-year records since 2013. Panthers went 10-2, won the sectional that year. 2014 went 10-2, won the sectional that year under head coach Craig Nielsen. 2015 8-3, 2016 4-6, 2017 2-8, 2018 3-6, 2019 8-3, 2020 2-3. COVID-affected season there. 2021 7-4, 2022 4-7. Their history in the playoffs, their record 23-16, undefeated seasons 1959, 1960, 1965, 66, and 1990. Some notable head coaches for you: Roy Lupinacci, 1965 to 1971. Pascack Valley won 3 sectional championships in 7 years under Lupinacci as head coach. Ed Mullins only coached for 3 seasons and won 1 title in 1990. After that, he subsequently retired. And Craig Nielsen coached from 2001 to 2015, one of the longest tenured coaches for the Pascack Valley Panthers, won back-to-back titles in 13 and 14. And here we go. Second half underway. Action here at George W. Hodgins Field in Paramus, New Jersey. Home of the Paramus Spartans, also home of the Paramus Catholic Paladins and the Bergen Catholic Crusaders. Their record under Len Cusimano. We just cut to an interview to Len Cusimano at halftime. He's been coaching Pascack Valley since 2016, 8 years. He's 28-37, and he's made 4 playoff appearances and 2 appearances in state semifinals. The handoff to Regula finds the middle of the field, but is tackled, gobbled up by the defenders of the Spartans. They're about 5 yards from the first down marker. I mentioned some of those great running backs for the Panthers, and they truly have built through the run game. That's something that's been passed along for a few generations now. Craig Nielsen was an adamant run game expert. That helped the team to 2 sectional titles back-to-back in 2013-2014 at MetLife Stadium, home of the Giants and Jets, about 30 minutes from here. And a jet sweep attempt is gobbled up by the defenders. Owen Dede, wide receiver, trying to make some gains here and have an impact on this game, as he's had 1 reception so far after a game where he had 4 receptions and 100 yards. That included a touchdown. On my game sheet, I had a few receivers highlighted that had made an impact from the last game. One of those receivers was not number 17, Dante DaCosta, who scored the touchdown to put the Panthers in the lead. DaCosta, again, is lining up one-on-one on the left field. They're 5 yards from the first down marker. Regula next to Shaw. Shaw airs it out to DaCosta, and he gets the first. Number 17 is having a game for the Pascack Valley Panthers. Talked about some notable receivers as well, some college alumni. A lot of college alumni, and in the last few years, a few players making really big impacts. Stephen Demboski had a huge sack to advance the team in the state tournament 2 seasons ago, and he went on to play at the University of Delaware in Wilmington. He's currently playing at Beaver Stadium today, home of the Penn State Nittany Lions. They're 1-0. Shaw shaking off a tackle, spins, tries to get a dunk pass off to Regula, but he's brought down in the backfield. Shaw to face off a tackle. And the intensity's picking up on the field. We apologize for any technical difficulties. We're having some glitching, some issues with the live stream video itself. We are doing the best we can. Mike Tedesco on the camera today, Mike Sherman producing, but audio seems to be doing just fine. So if you are here to stick with us, stick with the radio side of things. If there's no visual, keep that YouTube app open for Pascack Valley TV. Subscribe, like, and subscribe the video here. And this won't be the last time we have a live stream, hopefully this season. Right now we're away. Normally with the home game, it's a lot easier to stream. We have Wi-Fi access, more secure internet. A lot of this takes some technology and a prayer to make it work, and Mike Sherman always puts the work in to make sure things happen. Andrew Shaw's shaking a few tackles but takes a big hit, and he's brought down, and a player's on top of him, and a few players are upset with the after whistle extracurricular activity that's been going on the last few plays in the second half here. 9:25 ticks off the clock, a running clock here. And we're just about 3 minutes into the quarter of action. Pascack Valley leads by a score. They scored 3 touchdowns today. Regula with 2. Kevin Regula has 5 touchdowns on the season. Last player to have 500 yards in a season for the Panthers was George Cortez. Shaw receives a high snap, and there's a foul. Flags thrown on the field. It looked like a false start by the Panthers. Something that has impressed me about Shaw this game, Adam Shaw, he's a sophomore. If I'm not mistaken, the last 2 sophomores to start for the Panthers were Stephen Began and Joe Capagna. Joe Capagna struggled mightily under Len Cusimano. And Stephen Began went on to play for TCNJ. Very head-down, humble player. Just got the job done. I had the chance to interview him for Pascack Valley TV a few seasons back. He was a very no-nonsense quarterback. Was always getting extra reps in. Put his head down, did the work, and he succeeded because of it. Shaw's doing great with the rushing game so far this hot afternoon. Part of the reason our technology is having some difficulties is because of how hot it is. At first it was purely the humidity, but now the sun's out as well, if you could believe it. There were fog warnings up. Last night was a microburst-like storm, a cell that extended to Ocean County, rolled through last night, and hail came down from the skies. It was about the size of a quarter. I've never seen weather like that in this area. Last time we had severe weather like that was in the 2010s. And a reception. Shaw finds an open man. He's going, and he's tackled inside the 15-yard line. A huge play by Colin Kraus. Colin Kraus comes through with a huge reception to go downfield. Shaw finding the hole. He used his legs to get upfield. 2 players that had not made a major impact in the first game this season in DaCosta, who had a touchdown earlier today to put Pascack Valley in the lead, and a huge reception by number 32, Colin Kraus, a tight end, 6 foot 195, hauled in that ball, used some speed, had some speed for a 6 foot 6 feet tall tight end. And Regula takes a huge hit to the head. And he's tossed back. As they clog the hole, the Spartans doing a good job plugging that up. They stand awaiting commands from their coaches as the Panthers have breached the red zone again on another downfield try. Cusimano really opening things up. He mentioned in our interview that he thought they did a good job opening up the game and balancing that running side of the ball and receiving side, but they hope to do more of that in this game. And Regula had 3 TDs last game, 2 in this game, but now you're seeing huge receptions hauled in by players not named Owen Dede. And Shaw finds another out receiver, and he's brought down right at the sideline. Right flank. Michael Franzaglia, his first touch this game, wide receiver. He had a pretty solid first game for the Panthers with 2 receptions for 18 yards. Panthers line up and have DaCosta one-on-one again. Very, very interesting. Looking like Devontae Adams with that number 17. Shaw takes it himself up the gut, and he's pulled down at the 2-yard line. 2 yards from another score for the Panthers, and they're really finding a way to put numbers on the board today. If the Spartans are not able to make a stop, they'll be down 2 scores. Their interior's done a great job. DaCosta, in a similar situation last quarter, recorded a one-on-one fadeaway touchdown. Mentioned by Len Cusimano was the true state champion. Pascack Valley won sectional titles, 6 of them, 1965, 66, 69, 1990, and then back-to-back in 13 and 14. They have a man in motion. Regula receives the ball, and he's held up, but he punches through. Touchdown, Valley! Kevin Regula. Looks like a man's down on the field. It's Kevin Regula himself. He took a shot to the leg. His second 3-touchdown game this year. He averages 3 touchdowns a game. Extremely impressive numbers, but you got trainers now out there. Bill Rieger, who's the longtime trainer at Pascack Valley. Great man. The athletic trainer for Pascack Valley out there with a few of the coaches, and they're able to get Regula up. They're walking by him. Took a shot in the end zone, and he's back on his own feet walking to the sideline. They're going to need Regula to go if they want to make a run at not only a sectional title, but a true state championship. And what other man to have than a young man who recorded 3 touchdowns in each of the last 2 games for the Panthers. 6 touchdowns on the season. George Cortez, that season I brought up, he had 500 rushing yards. He was interviewed by NJ.com more than once in their run to the playoffs. George Cortez, an all-state player, super 100 athlete, had 500 yards in a season. You have to think that 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. Kevin Regula's already recorded 5 touchdowns. Now, a player that isn't on that list is Matt Uray, and I was shocked to see that he was an All-State, probably because of the team's record. A field goal is good, and the Panthers now lead 27-14. Really putting up numbers here. There's still 6 minutes remaining. Plenty of football in this third quarter and a fourth quarter subsequently. I have a feeling Matt Uray was not on that list solely because of the team's performance, which is quite disappointing. The Super 100 athlete list. It seems that it really is reserved for players that had an impact in the postseason as well, and he was a player that did everything. He scored his own touchdowns as a running back, a wide receiver, and in some cases, he kicked his own field goals in situations where the quarterback situation, there was a 3-man rotation that wasn't working out. Matt Uray stepped up and played quarterback. He truly was a remarkable athlete, very humble as well, just like Stephen Began. It's something that is truly remarkable in terms of the athlete's character, and they're students first. Uriah was also involved in a lot of honors courses at Pascack Valley. And the Spartans charge upfield. Try to find the hole, but it's closed up at right field. And they'll take the ball at their own 25-yard line. Sticks are moving. We'll see just about where they need to reach. And if they can activate players that in the first half they had, like Mason Merkel, Adrian Kaba, and Chris Akert, Cormac O'Hara took a shot earlier, shook it off. But since that drive by O'Hara, it seemed momentum swung towards Pascack Valley's favor twice, and that allowed them to record 2 scores. In a screen to the outside. Kaba doing a good job bringing it to the sideline. Getting a few yards off of the line of scrimmage. 5 yards from the first down marker. Just about towards the P at midfield. It's truly amazing to muse about the weather, as this field looks virtually untouched from how heavily Pascack Valley got hammered last night. And the handoff, his own player gets in his way, but Akert cuts upfield. There's one cut, and he's brought down at the 45-yard line by Ashton Kaczynski. Kaczynski's made a few plays today, and Akert's down on the field as well. Running backs are taking a few shots so far in back-to-back drives. Regula on the touchdown play, his 3rd of the game. Extremely impressive numbers from Regula. Akert's on the ground right now. He looks to be in a little bit of pain. Hoping the best for him right now. Again, if you're watching and tuning into Pascack Valley TV, great resource for all things Pascack Valley. We're experiencing some glitches. We're on the road. Came out today on an away game. Normally, this is not the occurrence for Pascack Valley TV. Normally, it's live streams of home games, and because of that, the internet is giving us a little bit of a hard time. A lot of fans here, a lot of cell service being used, and it's crowding things for us. But if you're listening, it appears that from those who are listening and tuning in, you can still hear the audio. So if you don't see the visual, you will hear my voice calling the game. Hopefully you can see the visual. Mike Tedesco, a junior, doing a great job on the kitchen class for Pascack Valley. That's how he knows the man in charge, Mr. Michael Sherman. He's entering his 10th year of teaching in general, and his 8th year at Pascack Valley. Akert's able to get to his own feet and walk to the sideline. That's going to be a little bit of a shot towards the Spartans, as Akert has been one of the players that has made an impact on this game and left his mark. O'Hara throws and misses the connection. A tight spiral towards the ground. He was looking for Drew Renner, wide receiver who started last week pretty well. He's got some family here in the stands that all have shirts that say Renner on them. Missed on that catch. They got Adrian Kaba lining up. Adrian Kaba has 3 touchdowns on the season. And Merkel, with the jet sweep, cuts up the middle, almost finds the hole, but it gets tripped up and brought down at midfield. Now, if you out of the frame right now is Andre Debagian, but Andre Debagian, he owns his own film company, Films by AD. He does the end-of-the-year video for the Rivervale Raiders, where a lot of these players come from, and for the Pascack Valley Panthers. Akert's back in the game, punches through, and gains the first down. Moves the chains, and the Spartans are starting to get some life on Akert's run. Pascack Valley enjoyed success in their athletics 2 seasons ago, and recently the Hillsdale Hawks baseball team went on to the Junior League World Series. So it's been a summer to remember for the town of Hillsdale in terms of athletics. And the run is stopped by the Panthers. Akert on the ground, and a Panther has his hands on his mask. And the Paramus trainers come over immediately. Good to see that they took recognition of what was going on. Akert gets to his own feet. And he's skipping. Doing all right after he took a shot earlier. It's a hot one today. Very humid. Hoping Andre's catching some breeze down on the field there. Mr. Sherman sitting behind me. He's got his water going. He's not even able to see the game. There's a banner in the way, so he came all the way out here about 20 minutes from home and set everything up early this morning so we could get this live stream going. Joey Von Tobel gets to his own feet, goes to the sideline. Von Tobel is a captain of the team this year. Owen Dede, Colin Foley, Jordan and Sarah, and Joey Von Tobel, all captains this season. They were featured in a NorthJersey.com interview on Super Football Conference Media Day. Len Cusimano talked about a lot of the same things in that interview as he had with me earlier this week on, I believe that was Wednesday or Thursday I had interviewed him. Big play here. Second down. About 8 yards from the first down marker. And a handoff. Adrian Cabo with a big gain. And a helmet comes flying off. Owen Dede's helmet goes flying off. He's playing on both sides of the ball. Senior captain, number 2, trotting off the field now. I mentioned before that NorthJersey.com interview. Coach Len Cusimano said, it's just getting back on track this year. Last year was a bit of a transitional period for us. A ton of first-year starters type of guys. Like I said, 2021 was a great year for us in the semifinal against Cranford. It's getting back on track, sort of this up-and-down pattern. There's a progression every single year we're trying to achieve. We know that the mountain's even higher for us in New Jersey. Now there's a true state champion. Spartans move upfield. 10-yard reception and a pile-up. And a big stop for the Panthers. It seemed like he got the first, but a huge stop on third down. Big tackles by the defense today. A very admirable effort. Pascack Valley's only real lapse today was the touchdown by Adrian Caba. His first receiving touchdown of the year. He has 3 total on the year and found some open field. Saw a lot of open grass up ahead, some green. And all he saw was green in that blue end zone. Mentioned the weather before. Hurricane Lee is also supposed to come up the coast. That might have some effects on this football season as well. I get all my information from alqweather.com. Shaw with the handoff. Regula going upfield. Gets a tackle. Regula's going, causing some separation about 5 yards ahead of the opponent. Touchdown, Kevin Regula. His 4th of the game. He celebrates along the sideline with his teammates. The Panthers now lead by a few scores. Kevin Regula having himself a game. 7th touchdown of the season. Are we really seeing the blossoming and metamorphosis of a true all-state athlete in front of our eyes today on this live stream? He's done a remarkable job this game, fighting off tackles, finding open field, using his speed. Kind of an in-between the tackles guy. And a field goal's good. I'm 7 touchdowns on the season. Those are numbers you hear from a Derrick Henry and Alvin Kamara. Very different style player, but Regula isn't the largest kid at running back, but boy, is he tough. Took a shot in the end zone on his 3rd touchdown, fought it off, returns for a huge gain. I can only imagine what the stat sheet is saying at the end of this game for how many yards he accrued. Really, really hard work from this Pascack Valley Panthers team, and I'm sure for the Paramus Spartans as well, that had to practice indoors due to the extreme levels of heat this week. Then you have an unfortunate weather circumstance. I'm sure for a lot of the younger guys, they're in school all day, 6 hours, getting ready for game day. First home game of the year in front of friends and family, and it gets moved to Saturday, which normally for most football fans is college football Saturday. Instead, they're playing early this morning, 11 o'clock. Mike Sherman was here to set up earlier than that, 9:30, for this Pascack Valley live stream. Spartans making some games, and a big tackle at the Pascack Valley sideline, and PV is able to take down the returner. 3 minutes remain in the 3rd quarter. It's 34-14 Pascack Valley. If the Paramus Spartans scored one more touchdown this game, it would be the same exact score for Pascack Valley last week as this week. And Kevin Regula is now certified threat number 1 for the Pascack Valley Panthers. He's done everything. 4 touchdowns this game. The other touchdown from DaCosta, Dante DaCosta, number 17. A great way to convert, a great play call to convert on. A fade in the back of the end zone. Hauled it in on a diving catch. Regula scored in every way possible. Through the tackles. Between the tackles. On a long distance run. Coach Judilla might want him on the track team in the spring. Currently got a timeout. Water break for the players. Certainly a hot one. I can't imagine being in those pads on the field today. This is a good time to highlight some of the alumni. I mentioned Stephen Demboski's playing at Beaver Stadium today, largest stadium in the Western Hemisphere of the entire world. Kyle Schneider went to Cortland. These are only recent graduates that went on to play football. Steve Farrell at UPenn, Joe Figueroa, John Hopkins, Jack Lapardo, SUNY Maritime, Andrew Demboski, TCNJ, great guy, part of Season 2 of Pascack Valley TV. Jesse LaGrossa, Salve Regina, another true character, great family. Steven Cervello went to Ithaca. Charlie Lewis in Ivy, Dartmouth College. He was in my class along with Andrew Demboski. James Della Pesca, Temple University. He was featured in Sapienza True Events and Sapienza Final Events, which are both on Pascack Valley TV. Della Pesca, a larger-than-life character. Shared a lot of classes with him. A true character, comedian. He went on to play at Temple University, even though he was injured his senior year and almost needed his leg amputated from a tackle where he scored a touchdown. He was number 36 at the time. Went down early on in the season. It might have been the home opener, if I'm not mistaken, and the injury was so bad that if they didn't get him to the hospital in time, he might have needed his leg amputated. Del Pesca now plays at Temple University. We'll see if he gets more time this season as a rising senior. Stephen Began at TCNJ, as I mentioned. Sioka at Union, Jake Sioka at Union. Desmond Von Tobel, brother of Joey Von Tobel. Long family history there of football. From their grandfather down. He plays at RPI. Sean Cuff is at Army West Point. And the ball pops out, and O'Hara is able to recover as the ball popped out of his hands. Little difficulty on the snap there. And as I mentioned before, Stephen Demboski, the most recent player to play at the college level for the Pascack Valley Panthers. It's very impressive to see players turn over as North Jersey is becoming a true hotbed in athletics. Maybe not to the level of Texas football like we saw with the recent documentary on Johnny Manziel, but it's certainly starting to gain some national attention. Only if Rutgers University could keep some of these athletes in state. O'Hara tries to take it himself, and he's shoved down to the ground by the Pascack Valley defenders. That again was Dante Ricciardi. And Colin Foley getting active in this game here. One of the senior captains, number 23. Great job getting in there with Dante Ricciardi. 2-on-1 on the quarterback. Brought down a bigger guy. Cormac O'Hara's a tall boy, 6'2", 190. Down in number 11 for the Spartans. 2:35 remaining. Defensive coordinator calling out to the Panthers what's going on, and an edge rush in. And almost a reception. Looked like Dede was able to get his hands to the inside, but there's a pass interference call on the field. A little bit questionable. Drew Renner couldn't come up with it, and they'll move upfield on that flag toss. Looked like Dede really got his hand to the inside of the defender, reached around and got his hand in there, and momentum really just swung that play. Now, something that is always controversial in the game of football is pass interference among fans, among the media coverage of games. Something that everybody has an opinion on, and no one really sure is what's right and what's wrong. But the Spartans benefit from that flag, and they'll look to go upfield. O'Hara, the handoff to Akert. Finds a hole, breaks a tackle, and he's brought down by Dede, who loses his helmet. Dede with a great play to respond after what seemed like a good play before to break up a pass to Drew Renner. Akert has his engine going too. It seems like the two engines for both teams are Regula and Akert. Number 10 took a shot before, took a few snaps on the sideline, but since has played in all the snaps in the third quarter. O'Hara drops back into shotgun, gets a pass off and a reception. A great catch in the air. That one by Liam Jones, getting active in this game. He had 15 tackles coming in, had recorded a 16th tackle earlier in the first quarter, and gets his first reception of the game there. Liam Jones with a great catch. Definitely a player that can do it all, as he's great on the defensive side of the ball. At least that's what the numbers show. And comes up with a huge reception there while getting tackled. Cut out at the knees, but was able to pull it in and get the Spartans into the red zone. They benefited from a play where Owen Dede tried to get his hands to the inside of Drew Renner, but it was called pass interference. The two worst words anybody at home can hear, pass interference. If you're just joining us now on Pascack Valley TV, we've had some experiences with glitches, and hopefully the audio is still coming through. If you really wanted to see some action from this game, you could check out Andre DeBagian's end of the season video. That will be coming out in a few months. And the handoff to Akert. Akert gets a good tackle, and he's in! Touchdown! The Spartans respond, and they're still alive. Akert is battled back in this game, records a touchdown, and breathes some life into the Spartans' offense. If it is true to the story of the real Spartans that existed, the Greek province, the Spartans were an army that battled against all odds. And the field goal is good. Spartans coming up with another score. Now the score is 34-21. A great play by Aker to get into the end zone, and there was a great block that led to it. A great block led to that play, and those are the small things that happen, tackles and blocks in play that allow the running backs to find the open seams and open lanes, and he was able to shake a tackle after that too. So he's truly a workhorse type of player, and Aker comes through and converts. Scores 34-21 with a hair under a minute and 30 seconds remaining, 1:24 on the clock. And this game's not over. You're in the fourth quarter. Sun's starting to blare down on us. Might be some rain in the forecast. Hoping we can hold out for that. So last night we saw how quickly the weather can bump up a few notches and go from mild to severe. The punt, and it's out of play. So they take this standard starting position of line of scrimmage on an out-of-bounds punt. There's been all types of action in this game. Hopefully you were able to view all of it, or at least hear what was going on. Sacks, fumbles, a lot of touchdowns. Kevin Regula himself has 7 on the season now. I don't have a stats man to check me on that, but he has 4 today already. And receives the ball again, and finds the gut, gets a tackle, and he's going again! Kevin Regula, downfield! Touchdown! I mean, when does it stop for him? When does it stop? Kevin Regula burns the Spartans again for his 5th of the game. What a day. Have a day, Kevin Regula. That was another play where huge blocks played into the touchdown there. Big blocks, allowing lanes to open up. And Regula records yet another touchdown. And the field goal's good. That'll make the score 41 visitor, 21 Spartans here at George. Hoping that was a truck or a plane, but if not, that's certainly thunder. All right, with rain in the distance, if you're with us, we won't be able to continue the stream, and we'll have to shut things down for the rest of the game, even if there's a delay. So the equipment, won't be able to set up the equipment here with the rain on this metal roof of the play-by-play booth. Hopefully the weather holds out, and that would be the best thing for this game, as there's 1 quarter remaining. If the lightning alarm goes off, we certainly, all things will have to be shut down, but we're really hoping we can deliver the rest of the game to you. At home, if you're watching, thank you for tuning into PVTV for this live stream. The Spartans are brought down on the return, and a big tackle by Jake Merlino. He's really doing it all today as well. Came up with a few big tackles, a tackle for loss earlier. Spartans starting with the ball here. 1:07 remaining in the third quarter. Thanks for joining Pascack Valley TV again. to live stream this game. I'm sure there are a lot of family members and friends at home that want to tune in after what happened yesterday with the home game. Adrian Cobb is brought down. He's a senior this year, so final season for him. Regula on the other side of the ball. He's a junior, running back, linebacker, 5'11", 190. He's truly been a remarkable story these first 2 games, and something we'll keep our eye on for the rest of the season, and I'm sure North Jersey will soon hear of in the papers tomorrow. And Kaba tries to stiff arm and shake a tackle, but Dante Ricciardi comes up with a big takedown. And with 20 on the clock, looks like the Spartans may not even opt to get the snap off. And they'll let the quarter run out, it seems. And we'll be headed to the fourth quarter. The score is 41-21, Pascack Valley Panthers. Thank you for tuning in on Pascack Valley TV. Again, thank you for sticking with us not only with the technical difficulties, but with the weather. Inclement weather is possible with rain, and we saw what happened yesterday with that, so we would have to shut down operations on the away turf here. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back hopefully for the fourth quarter. Marco Giacchi hauling in a catch for the Spartans there to start the fourth quarter. It's getting real hot here. Anyone want to turn the AC on? And the handoff from O'Hara to Akert. Akert shakes one tackle, shakes two, and dragging on the ground was Charlie Haller while Akert pushed upfield. And to start the fourth quarter, the Spartans trying to claw their way back into this match. Very rare you see a game postponed. Usually it's because of lightning, weather like that, but not only was the game postponed, it was moved to the Spartans' home turf. So Pascack Valley will have started their season 3 games on the road after next Friday. Now again, Hurricane Lee might have something to say about that, but again, it's out of anyone's hands. Remains to be seen. O'Hara looks to Akert, tries to take it himself. Shakes one tackle, but is brought down by Evan McIntyre, a senior. Good tackle by McIntyre there. Got to the inside, was able to pull down a 6'2" quarterback in O'Hara. O'Hara heading into this game had 121 passing yards, was 20 for 41, a touchdown and an interception. Chris Aker coming into this game at 131 yards. You got to think he's probably doubled that already. He has a touchdown now as well. The handoff to Akert. Akert up the sideline, shakes the tackle, tries to keep his feet to the inside, but he's pulled out of bounds by Charlie Haller. Spartans will line up again as they're starting to march downfield. They need 3 scores to get back into this game. The handoff. Fake. O'Hara takes it himself. Opts to take a dive. And he's at the 35 marker. Starting to put some pressure on the Panthers as they're on their heels. I'm sure fatigue is starting to catch up to them in this game on the defensive side of the ball. For both teams, it's a humid day. Sun's out. Akert brings it upfield, but is brought down again by Charlie Haller. Charlie Haller is starting to really activate on the defensive side of the ball. Defensive back for the Panthers. O'Hara hands it off to Kaba. Kaba tries to get to the outside, but is brought down by, guess who? Charlie Haller. His 4th tackle on this series alone. Panthers opt to sub in some players, take out Dante Ricciardi, who's had an impact on this game, give him a little bit of a breather. Defense has been active so far. Handoff to Kaba. Kaba is swallowed up by Evan McIntyre. What a great play on the defensive side of the ball. Kaba scored a receiving touchdown, a beauty earlier in the game. It was brought down here. And it looks like it'll be a fourth down play. They need 10 yards for the first down, but they're going for it. O'Hara, a tight spiral in. Is it intercepted? And it appears it was. An interception by Mark Delaquila. A huge play to get inside and get that ball. Stole it right from the hands of Marco Giacchi. And the Panthers turn the ball over on a fourth down attempt from the Spartans. They were going for it, had to in order to stay in this game. At this point, it's all or nothing. And Delaquila rips the ball out of Giacchi's hands for an interception. Wasn't sure if his knees were down or not before the play was called dead. DaCosta lines up one-on-one again against Adrian Kaba. They'll have Regula in the backfield. And they fake to Regula. Shaw tries a swim move but gets brought down and tripped up at the 35. We've talked about Regula a lot in this game, but some other players have stepped up. Adam Shaw, namely the quarterback, Mark Delaquila, Dante DaCosta, Ashton Kazinski, Jake Merlino, Colin Foley. And they're going for a pass play, a tight spiral inside for DaCosta, but it's dropped. And the flag's thrown for pass interference. A PI call allows the Panthers to advance over the midfield line, and the subs on the sideline are amped up. coaches as well. They get a call their way this time, but they still lead 41-21. Not too desperate of a situation, but you take your foot off the gas and you never know what could happen down the stretch. Plenty of football left, 7-12. We've seen in professional football with Patrick Mahomes, that Buffalo Bills game 2 seasons ago, how anything can happen in 15 seconds of a game, and it's something that we'll have to keep an eye on as we come down the stretch. It's almost unbearably hot today. But Kevin Regula was able to shake off a defender and gain a few yards. Despite the heat, this game will probably be one that Regula takes a pair of scissors and cuts out of the newspaper to hang on the wall. Certainly impressive. I think Coach Cusimano might want to as well and show his team what it's like to be resilient. And this Panthers team has been resilient. It looked like in the beginning of the game it truly was very back and forth, that the Spartans or the Panthers could have come away with a victory here. A score from the Panthers and a touchdown by the Spartans. The Spartans really began to take over that first quarter, but the Panthers were able to respond on a set of plays before halftime that allowed them to truly take the lead on a DaCosta touchdown. And another run play attempt, and they're brought down. I think what I'm most impressed about, having viewed these games for years now, is how Cusimano is really utilizing his receivers, and he really has a diverse play call and call book. There were years with the aforementioned Matt Urea and Jake Williams where it seemed like Jake Williams and Sean Cuff, they were receiving the ball every play, and it really limited the receivers to any action. Granted, they might not have been the star level that these receivers are, and a toss gets broken up as Shaw is brought down, but he gets back up to his feet, and we'll see what the play call is here now as Shaw's on the sideline. The turnover allows the Spartans to take over, and again, they're going to need everything they can within these last 5 minutes. The Spartans are smart with their clock management and are able to execute on their playbook. They can get back into this game. The punt's muffed, and it's a chase down for the ball. And Colin Foley is able to ensure that a Spartan doesn't scoop that up and take it in for a touchdown. An easy play. The punt was muffed, and it went beeline into the middle of the rushers. Bounced back, and Foley was able to recover that. Foley was one of those players that spoke at the media day. One of the captains of the team. Something about a true leader is they do the things that are right as opposed to some of the more flashy plays, and that's certainly what Foley's done today. The Spartans will have the ball at the 30, just a few yards short of the 35, and the first down marker is about the 28-yard line. And Mason Merkel's brought down, a receiver again used as a back on that play to run the ball. Modern football, air raid offense, all of these things have led to a juggling of positions. You have a lot of these athletes now that can play more than one position, and it's a true testament to their talents. It's more about the athleticism of the players. If they're able to do things like jet sweep, as we're seeing the Spartans formulate their offense here. A one-on-one as Delaquilla's lined up against a receiver, but O'Hara takes it himself. Gets to the inside and is able to gain an extra yard on a strong effort. O'Hara doing a good job using his frame to gain an extra yard. Clock's ticking. 4:37 ticking off right now. See the red digital numbers clocking down. Time's running out in this game for the Spartans to make a play and get back in it. But O'Hara commanding the offense, hands it off to Akert, who has some space, finds a hole, pushes through a few tackles, and he's a tough man to get down. He's still standing. Great push by Akert and a good play call there to move upfield, and they get into that scoring zone. You can see the Spartans blue end zone in sight. Thanks for sticking with us on Pascack Valley TV on today's live stream and broadcast. And the Panthers take a timeout with 4:03 remaining in the game. Looks like we just may be able to get the end of this game in before any weather reaches us. And it's so hot, you could see a lot of the fans in the stands. Some have left. Family members are broiling here. On the other side of the field, you can see the Pascack Valley fan section. And for those that aren't in the fan section, they're certainly tuning in on Pascack Valley TV. Thanks for tuning in and sticking with us through some of the glitches and technical difficulties. Hoping we can bring you picture and audio from today's game in a performance that will please many of the fans and observers on the other side of the screen. Again, the score is 41 Pascack Valley, 41 Pascack Valley, 21 Paramus Spartans. And the Spartans are making a march downfield. O'Hara's done a great job commanding on a lot of plays. The defense for Pascack Valley has been out there for a little bit, and the Spartans are doing a good job running the ball. Tried a jet sweep to Merkel, didn't work, and O'Hara decided on the next few downs to take it himself. Big frame, big body. Reminds me of a Colin Dietrich type of quarterback, if you know that name from their days of past for Pascack Valley. Akert's tied up and almost brought down as 4 defenders really get in there. Nice to see the respect there between both players. You always want to see a clean game, especially when the score is almost doubled. Akert receives the ball again, and he shakes a tackle. And there's a pile of humanity at the midfield, and players brought down after the whistle. Some fans are incensed about that, and rightfully so. A little dog pile there, and Akert was stopped on the run. 3:06 remaining. Some things you can't stop, like the rain last night or Kevin Regula. He has 5 touchdowns today. That makes 8 on the season. 8 touchdowns on a season in 2 games. And a tight, lofty spiral to the end zone. Touchdown Spartans to Drew Renner. Was he out? Appears he might have been out of bounds. And they'll bring the ball back as he wasn't able to get both feet in. And that'll make it 4th down, so they'll have to go for it. Apologies on that play. He definitely was out of bounds. Mike Sherman giving me the tap on that behind me. So broadcast is a little bit delayed. Quote unquote, open quote, definitely out, end quote. O'Hara steps back, looks left of the field, and doesn't have a receiver there, and that'll just about put the dagger in the Spartans as they can't convert on a 4th down play. The Panthers will start all the way at their 15-yard line. So the Spartans made a good stretch downfield, but the Panthers will certainly have a chance to get some other players involved here. Maybe try and activate some players here later in the game. Try some plays. Keep up with the pace of a 41-21 lead. You have to give the credit to the Panthers, who were resilient enough to have their game postponed and to obviously unforeseen circumstances, but with that, they come out today at 11 o'clock in the morning, prepared for a game last night, prepare this morning, and really clean things up. Kevin Regula, 5-touchdown game, and don't forget, DaCosta also had a touchdown in this game, and that's what put the Panthers over the edge. That gave them the lead on their 3rd touchdown of the game when the game was all knotted up at 2 scores. You got to think they practiced all week in conditions that were difficult to deal with. The mental game might have been difficult this week, but they've certainly done a good job here today on away turf. And barring a miracle, with 1:35 remaining, the Pascack Valley Panthers will have won their first 2 games with over 30 points scored. A fake handoff, and Shaw takes off to the left of the field. Gets a few blocks. Puts on a juke move. Tries to get to the outside. Uses those long legs. A few strides. 1, 2. Stiff arm. Shakes off a defender. Pushes him down. Tries to shake off one more. Goes for a lateral and is brought down within the 2-yard line. What a play by Adam Shaw. What a play by Shaw, just kept going and going. Wasn't afraid to pump the brakes and shake a defender. Certainly one of the highlights of this game instantly, aside from the fact that Kevin Regula scored in every which way possible. And they'll take the knee. And that'll be it, folks. The Pascack Valley Panthers are 2-0. Pascack Valley defeats Paramus by a score of 41-21. And things will really be wrapped up here as the clock will tick out, and we'll see some formalities and a handshake line and a victory for Pascack Valley. Thank you for tuning in today on Pascack Valley TV. Matthew Mugno here on the broadcast, Mike Tedesco on the camera, and Mike Sherman doing our productions for us. In this game, we saw 5 touchdowns from Kevin Regula. Good. We saw 5 touchdowns from Kevin Regula, a touchdown from DaCosta, and a 41-21 win for Pascack Valley. They're 2-0 now, already improving on the season last year where they were 4-6, and hopefully this will propel them into next week's match. Another matchup. Still can't hear me? Now I'm good? Yeah? Shall I go over everything again from the game? All right. Pascack Valley wins 41-21 on away turf despite the weather circumstances last night here on September 9th. Kevin Regula, 5-touchdown game. You'll see that in the papers tomorrow, I'm sure. If you'd like to play back the live stream, we'll have all 5 touchdowns there. DaCosta scored a touchdown to put the Pascack Valley Panthers up by 3 scores over 2 scores, and they ran away with it there. Good effort by Akert and O'Hara from the Paramus Spartans, but they just came up short as they couldn't convert on any scores in the second half. For the Panthers, they're 2-0. The Paramus Spartans are now 1-2. And in the Super Football Patriot Blue division, this will be a big matchup that we'll look back at and say Kevin Regula was able to put Pascack Valley on top, as well as some great play calls here on away turf. With the storm last night, able to come through, show some resiliency in a week of practice that was very difficult to deal with. And thank you so much for tuning in to Pascack Valley TV. Mike Tedesco on the camera, Mike Sherman producing. I'm Matthew Mugno.